Hi everybody, welcome back to Sherry Tries That, or welcome if you're new. Today we are going to make a homemade Rainstick. I have made these before. I made them with my nieces when they were young, and we all love them. I find them to be very peaceful, very soothing, just can kind of mellow you out a little bit, bring your blood pressure down. And they're a fun activity to do with others, especially kids. The ones that I made before involved nails, but I found a more kid-friendly version. So that's the one I'm going to do today. Oh, and little Sadie is joining me here today. It had been mentioned that Sophie has been in more videos than Sadie. So I thought that I would let Sadie come in the intro today. Come along as we make a homemade rain stick. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need is a cardboard tube. You can use a tube from paper towels. Mine is from wrapping paper. I wanted something a little bit longer than a paper towel tube and a little bit wider. I've heard that you can make little mini ones out of toilet paper rolls, but I'm not convinced that they would work as well because there's not as much room inside them for the beans or the rice to move. I mean, you could certainly give it a try, but I would suggest something longer, like paper towel or wrapping paper tubes. The first thing that we're going to do is cover up one of the ends. Okay, we're going to trace around the bottom of the tube. I'm going to do this twice. And then you are to make another ring sort of twice as big. Hey, Soph. Now we're going to cut these out. My paper is folded, so I have double strength. Now you're going to make 4 cuts just to the center ring. Now we're going to use some heavy-duty tape. In this case, I'm using packing tape. A quick hack or tip for those who use packing tape. You know that once it gets smoothed down on here, it is almost impossible to find the edge and get it up, especially without ripping little pieces. So I just use a bread thing. What do you call these? Put the center ring around the end of your tube and then just fold down and tape it down. We'll do the other end near the very finish. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is roll out enough foil for 1.5 times the length of your tube. I had just the right amount left in that box. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sort of roll it up. And now we're going to coil it. This is why it has to be 1.5 times the length of your tube, because you're going to shorten it by doing this, but you still want it to go basically the length of your tube. Okay, now we're going to put this in our tube. So it looks like I'm going to have to coil it a little more tightly for it to fit in there. I've never made one this way, so I really hope it turns out. Now you're going to take some uncooked beans or some rice, uncooked rice, and pour it in. The trick is figuring out how much rice to put in. You don't want to put too much in. If it's too packed, it can't move freely, which makes the sound of the rain. I believe you're supposed to have it like 1/10 full, but with that coiled up foil in there, it's a bit hard to know how much that is. I guess you could measure this before you start and then measure out the rice. That is way too logical and organized for a person like myself. So the other thing is you could always, you know, if you felt like it really needed more afterwards or less afterwards, you could take off one of the ends and put some more in, or pour some out and then put the top back on. Prefer not to do that just because of the covering we're going to put over this, which I'm about to show you. I think I'm going to put a tiny bit more in, but not much. Looks like I'm going to be having rice for the rest of the week. Hi. So while editing, I found that a whole section was not recorded. Turns out my battery went dead, and I didn't know it. It's not a part that I can really redo, so I'll just quickly talk you through what I did. I bought some contact paper with a wood grain look on it. That is what I was looking for. That's what I had in mind. However, I bought it at Dollarama, and I wish I had gone to Home Depot instead, because it turns out that this contact paper is not terribly good quality. When I did this with my nieces many years ago when they were young, we went to Home Depot and got contact paper, and each girl was allowed to pick out what contact paper she wanted. I got something similar to this, of wood grain, and one of my nieces picked out a nice green leafy pattern, which looked very much like nature type of thing, which seemed appropriate for a rain stick. And I don't remember what my other niece got, unless she decided to use the same thing as one of us, because those are the only two I remember. Anyway, the wood grain was what I had in mind again, but I am disappointed in the quality of it. But anyway, what I did was I first covered each end in some of the contact paper, so it's got that kind of wood look. And then I went over, I rolled the whole tube in the contact paper. So it does cover up sort of where the, when I did the ends, I also put more packing tape on it, because this wasn't sticking very well when it was folded down like that. So I put more tape around it, because you do want the ends to be secure. And then I rolled up the tube in the rest of the wrapping paper. It looks very wrinkled. It's not perfect by any means, but that's okay. I mean, you know, wood isn't completely flat and smooth all the time, and it really doesn't matter that much. The traditional rain sticks often have something tied around them. So usually some colorful yarn or something that's been crocheted or something like that, and then you know, pieces of yarn hanging down or feathers or something like that. I'm not going to do that this time, but you can embellish however you want. You don't have to wrap it in contact paper. You could paint it. You know, you could color it, you know, with crayons or markers or what have you. You could do stamps on it. The biggest thing is to make sure that the two ends are securely covered, so that the beans or the rice, whichever you put inside, stay inside and don't come out when you're tipping the rain stick up and down. Okay, so I'm not sure if the sound is going to translate that well on camera, but when you turn it over, when you move it, it sounds like sort of gently falling rain. So let me know what you thought. Let me know if you're going to try it, and if you do, if it turned out, did you like it? Thank you so much for joining me on Sherry Tries That, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I've heard that you can when you turn it over, when you move it, it sounds like sort of gently falling rain. So much so that it starts my dogs barking. So much for a relaxing video.